Alright, on to my piece of shit. This car actually did well. We're gonna say its finish was a tie for second. If you guys watched the video, right there at the end, me and that Lincoln went head to head, and we kind of got locked up. I was able to refire once and drag us backwards like 3 feet maybe, and it sounds like he had at least still had power at that point, so we just decided that was a tie. There wasn't really a whole lot more you could do there, so we split second place money. I got to use the back a couple times. You'll see in the beginning of that video, I kind of laid off. You guys know usually when the green flag flies, I'm usually the first one off the line. I usually try to gun it. The problem was, obviously we didn't have flaggers, and I was the only car with a working horn, so I was kind of the green flag, so I felt bad being the first guy going. So as soon as I saw somebody coming back across the track, I put it to the floor and hit him as hard as I could, and then made a couple more shots with the back of this car. I actually think it went okay. We could have easily fixed this. You hear me say could have, and there's a reason for that. Not a whole lot of damage to the side. The side looks pretty good. You know, scraping maybe would be about the most. I did lose this tire, but it lost the air as it was just sitting there. I still had air in that tire the entire time that I was actually running the Derby. We ripped the bumper off putting it on the trailer. With this last hit, I'm thinking it either got to the oil filter or the cooler lines or whatever behind this thing, because it had a puddle of oil underneath it. So that last shot when I tried to put it in reverse and back up with that Lincoln, I thought it just died again because it was dying after pretty much every hit. I was having to refire. I thought it just died, and I could hear the battery clicking, so I assumed since I was having to try to refire every time that it was most likely the battery was just dead. Not so much. Unfortunately, because if you look, frame still straight, sub still straight, frame still straight, sub still straight. This is normally a car I would run again. Why am I not? Because in that last pull, while I was trying to pull that Lincoln backwards, this 3.1 locked up tight. She ain't spinning no more. She is dead, and I am not putting another motor in this rusty pile of shit. So this one's done. I took a pretty healthy door shot from that same Lincoln. Shit happens. Because I knew that my car was dying after every hit, I was kind of to the boards. I kept the pedal down. He was coming up to make a hit. He was, you know, most likely aiming here, ended up here. Shit happens. It was a pretty solid hit, but I mean, you know, most drivers' doors can withstand one of those hits, and I mean, you can see it peeled back a little bit. I don't know that I'd want to take another one that hard, but not the end of the world for a car that doesn't have a full cage in it. So, for a car that has, let's see, I don't even have a trailing arm there anymore. That's where it used to be. Floor's rotted. You can kind of see that. The rear axle was held in by the top of the struts. This just wasn't a fantastic car overall. Great gut and go car, which is why we took it to this show and why we were going to take it to Spring X. It was perfect for that, but not something you'd want to spend a ton of time with. You know, I love these kind of cars. I love running the rusty, crusty, ugly. So that's it. Next, you're going to see this one going to Weller's. You're going to see the Buick going to Weller's. Maybe I've got a little bit of room now for those other 3 cars that I still need to give you guys intros on. Hope you enjoyed the show, guys. We finally got to wreck some shit. Appreciate you following along as always. Get goosed.